My name is Pauline Joseph, and today we're here to talk about the 5 things you need to know before applying for a remote job in the Caribbean. Now, you may be asking, what she know about this thing? I've been doing it for 12 years now, and I've worked across multiple industries, including Microsoft, as well as my own business, AC Marketing. And here are the 5 key things that I've learned. You need to create a routine, and this may seem obvious, but I feel like there's a huge transition when you are forced to get in your car and drive to work versus creating boundaries in your home. Now, what do I mean by that? You need to set specific time for work, for breaks, and for leisure. Because you can fall on 2 sides of the spectrum, which is you open your laptop at 8 o'clock, you barely close it at 10 p.m. That is not healthy. On the other side of things would be you kind of roll out your bed at 9:30, and then you kind of fall into YouTube vortex, but haven't rolled out your bed at 7 p.m. So both stories or both sides are not the most productive of scenarios. So a potential employer wants to see that you're capable of being able to set boundaries and create a routine for your future job as a remote worker in the Caribbean. You got this. Second thing is you need to make sure you have the right equipment, because a routine is nothing if you don't have the internet and the right computer. Now, we're lucky in the Caribbean because we do have good internet speed in the Caribbean, so we have that. But I also want you to be mindful of when you're purchasing your laptops. You need to make sure that the camera is, because a lot of the times we want to see, and I know sometimes it's not favorable and it's anti-forcibly putting people on cameras, but there's certain elements visually that you cannot replicate with audio. So you really need to make sure you have the equipment, which is a laptop and the internet, to make sure that your employer feels confident that you're going to get the job done and, who knows, host meetings on their behalf. So make sure you have the right equipment. Thirdly, you need to have a dedicated workspace. Now, this is important to help you keep focused and productive, and the way how the brain works, it's a pattern, right? So if your brain sees that you're about to go in your bed, ideally you're about to go to sleep. So your brain kind of goes into relaxed mode. I mean, the majority of us go scrolling through our phones, but ultimately the brain knows, hey, this is downtime. So the similar way for your productivity hack, you want to make sure that you have a space in your house that is lit and comfortable, because the brain's gonna go, wait a minute, work time. Similar to the Spider-Verse, it's my favorite all-time animation ever. When he puts on that suit, he knows something's about to go down. So when you go into that space, that productive space, your brain goes, all right, let's get into this. Fourthly, communication. And it's extremely important, I think, specifically in the Caribbean, because I feel like we have a communication problem in general, but data to follow through, I don't know. But we need to make sure and stay in touch. That may mean weekly check-ins with your teammates. That may mean Teams channel message. That may mean, hey, this particular project is not finished, I am working on it. And the evolution of remote working means you can no longer get up from your desk and go around the corner and talk to your manager. You're sliding into their DMs on Microsoft Teams or Slack or Zoom, wherever you utilize your communication channels, and you're saying, hey, this is happening. Don't take that for granted, that just because a deadline is there and you may not have, the deadline's not there yet, but you want to keep the person updated at what's happening. So in the event that, something does happen, you're like, communication is key, you're checking in regularly. It really keeps you in check from a team perspective, communication. These are the channels that we're using now. So you need to showcase that you are capable of doing these things, so your future employer, like, yes, you, he, she, they know what they're talking about, right? Finally, I think this is the most important part. You need to be prepared to work independently. So I think it has to have a little bit of entrepreneurship if you're a remote worker from the Caribbean or across the world. I traveled the last 4 months with 19 plus other remote workers, and part of the package was making sure that you had all these things, which is a routine as well as a workspace, but we all had to be self-motivated to know that we have work to do. So when you're working remotely, you'll need to be able to work independently, stay motivated, try to, push aside the FOMO, because there is no one breathing down your neck, thankfully, for you to do your job, but you also need to showcase that you're capable of doing this job remotely from the Caribbean. So I hope that these 5 tips helped you. They included making sure that you create a routine, making sure that you have the right equipment and a dedicated workspace. Don't forget to communicate with your team, and finally, be prepared to work independently, because you are worth it. You have all the tools, you are educated. You mind that you're from the Caribbean. You got this, and you're capable of landing that remote job while living in the Caribbean. Buena suerte, aka good luck, guys.